They're eating the dogs, Kieran, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
you know
dogs.
that?
They were
They're
eating the dogs.
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to the school. Recruits are going to see this.
And we're also sorry that you have to watch a Brian Kelly coach football team. We can only imagine how difficult that must be for you, knowing that you're not going to win a big game ever with him as your coach, and that you're rooting for a child murderer.
This podcast has gone off to a really weird start, but I like it.
I love it, though. I'm a big fan. Cannon, you were rocking out during the entire intro.
I know, it was fun.
I do enjoy that intro, but we're back. Thank you. Also, thank my wife for helping me pick what to put in there. But we are back with our new intro. We were not taken off the air. Shockingly, I figured people would see our faces and go, nah. I have updated my little shelf bar area. We still have the router, obviously. I need Wi-Fi, but we have we're just going to tour it. We have a Big Al Funko Pop.
Nice.
Only the necessities. A Mac Jones side helmet that's worth about $3.50 right now.
Well,
so I got that, and then a shit ton of alcohol.
Yee, buddy.
So, yeah, there's a quick tour of.
You're making me feel insecure here now. I'm gonna have to amp up this space now that we're on video. I got a Spurs thing, but that's the English Premier League, so that doesn't count. I gotta amp up whatever this is back here.
That's fair. I mean, if I was still doing it in my office, I would be the same way, but it cut out way too much when we were recording down there. So
yeah.
I had to go up into the living room and kick my wife out of the living room.
She can't watch Love Island or anything like that while you're recording.
I feel like it'd mostly be TikToks, but she can do that in the bedroom. So I also don't kick her out. I want to be clear. She willingly goes out.
Good.
So I think part of it is she doesn't want anything spoiled because she does listen to and watch every episode now. Listen to was always, but now she also watches the YouTube.
Well,
if you're listening to this podcast, go to Tailgate in the Quad. Look at last week's video, tiering rivalry trophies. This week, we're going to go into some of their history because some of them we are like, what the hell is this? Why is it like that? And if you're watching this on YouTube, check out Tailgate on the Quad, wherever you get your podcasts. If you can only watch half, you're driving to work, you want something to listen to, you don't hate us for some reason. I'm always surprised when people don't hate us. My own mother hates me, but it's fine. So, yeah, check us out. Also, at Quad Tailgate on almost all social media platforms. Tailgate in the Quad on Facebook. Go follow us there. Check us out. Also, check out Belly Up Sports. I feel like I probably should do these plugs at the end. We're doing them at the beginning because I have the attention span of a fly. Kieran, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's awesome. Yourself?
All right. I'd be better if I did not stay home from work sick today.
Fair.
Staying home wasn't the issue. The fact that I was actually sick is the issue.
Well, yeah.
I had to I couldn't do anything until my work gave me stuff to do. And even then, I was miserable. So, but the show must go on, Kieran. We care too much about the fans.
Absolute trooper.
To not go through, not to go, hey, one episode in, we're not doing another one this week.
Copped out early.
Yeah, I don't feel like it. But we're back with some news, mostly coaching news. Kieran has a secret topic for us that we'll get into later. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to be going into the Rivalry Trophy histories. We will have the ones that we talked about or that we will be talking about on screen to kind of make sure you know what we're talking about. But first off, though, Eddie George, the former head coach of, I believe, Tennessee State. Yes, it was Tennessee State. I already forgot that. That's not great. Tennessee State head coach, obviously NFL college football legend, has been named as Bowling Green's head coach. Eddie George went 9-4 last year at Tennessee State, 6-5 the year before, 4-7 the year before that, and 5-6 the year before that. The Bowling Green head coaching position was open because Scott Loeffler did leave to be Philadelphia's quarterback coach in the NFL. They did go 7-6 the last 2 years. Kieran, thoughts on Eddie George to Bowling Green?
No real thoughts. I'm excited to see what he can do. I do like, however, the fact that if you pull him up on Wikipedia or like the first entry, it already has him listed as the Bowling Green head coach on Wikipedia, and his record is a solid 500%, sitting at 0-0. So I think no, but
that's true.
No, in all seriousness, I think that's a pretty good acquisition by Bowling Green. I think he has a lot of like innate non-tangible football knowledge that he can kind of divvy out to his team. I'll be really interested to see like if he does any better, because Bowling Green isn't terrible. I mean, for God's sakes, they almost beat Penn State last year. So I mean, 7-6 record, sure, but you know.
7-6. That's bowl eligible.
That's bowl eligible. It's bowl eligible.
They have been bowl eligible the last 3 years, and they lost all 3 of them.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some, Kev. You know.
Their last bowl win was the Camellia Bowl in 2014 under head coach. It's definitely Dino, but I'm going to call it Dino Babers.
Dino Babers.
So yeah, but yeah. So I'm not concerned. I don't think he's a bad coach, but are they kind of obviously Tennessee State has shown development. They went from 5-6 and 4-7 his first 2 years, 6-5 year 3, 9-4 year 4. That big jump. I'm curious if they think he's a good coach or if they went, 9-4, that's good. We're going to hire him. And he's an NFL legend.
I think it's one of those situations where there's a little bit of recency bias, maybe, in the fact that he went 9-4 last year. I think it's one of those things like there's nothing really Bowling Green can do wrong with this hire. If he sucks, he sucks. You let him go after a year, no harm, no foul. But if he's good and continues that uptick like he had with Tennessee State, then you know the sky's the limit essentially. So I think it's a shrewd move rather than a preemptive like this is the guy that brings us all the way.
That's true, and like you said, it's Bowling Green. So if they fire their coach after 1 year, it's fine.
Right.
Moving on to some more coaching news. Dan Lanning, Oregon's head coach, has signed a 6-year, $66 million contract to stay with Oregon. I don't think either of us will say this isn't the right move.
Well, it's not necessarily whether it's the right move or the wrong move. I think it's more the fact that depending on your perspective, Lanning has just signed a deal with the devil. I mean, 6 years, $66 million. That's asking for it. That is asking for trouble because if there's no incident, it's like, okay, we're good, but like that was nerve-wracking. And if there is an incident where he is involved in something, they are screwed because they're like, damn it, we wrote it into a contract.
I mean, are we sure that this wasn't planned? Maybe Dan Lanning did sell his soul to the devil. So now it's a whistleblower. It's a watchdog thing where it's just now 666. But I mean, he's 38. He took you to the playoffs. Oregon's also a weird team. They are regarded as this really good historic college football program. They're not, but they're regarded as such.
By whom? Oregon fans?
Oregon fans, a lot of college football fans do have them. Well, like Oregon's knocking on the door of being a blue blood because they're always competitive. If always being competitive is the litmus test for what a blue blood is, then there's no such thing as a blue blood because that's an oversaturated market.
Yeah, seriously.
They're sub 500 in bowl games. They're just above 500 all-time record. They have never won a national championship. Well, they have an unclaimed national title in 2024, so I do kind of respect them for that. They don't claim bullshit national titles, so you got to respect them for it, unlike UCF. But, yeah, so I think this is – I'm looking at their Wikipedia right now, by the way. They have current uniforms. They only have 5.
Oh.
That's not true. They have a
billion. Seriously.
And even then, we're selling them 1 or 2 short, probably.
Yeah. A billion plus 1. Plus or minus 1 on either side of that.
Yeah, but, yeah, so I think it's a good move. It's just something I felt we should probably point out. Not necessarily a topic.
No, I mean, it's a topic in the sense that, like, look how good they were last year, only to completely fall apart in their first game against Ohio State. Like, or their rematch game against Ohio State is how I should phrase that. They beat them week, I think 3 it was, and not convincingly, but convincingly enough where you're like, oh, these guys are legit. They're going to make a run for it. And then they did, only to be humiliated. So I'm like, does Dan Lanning deserve the $66 million contract? 100%. Is Oregon going to be back in the same situation they were last year? I don't think so. And that's not Dan Lanning's fault necessarily. That's just like how the guys progress in and out. You'll never have that sort of consistent level of success like Saban had, or like that Kirby Smart is like kind of having. He still needs a couple more years of batten down the hatches to really get that status. But I mean, it's a worthwhile contract. It makes a lot of sense. There's no reason to doubt him. So it's good for both of them.
That's true. I mean, I also think, though, we talked about how Oregon's always been good and competitive, but Dan Lanning is young. He's taken them to a point that they never really reached with Mario Cristobal, their previous head coach. I mean, yeah, they finished 5th in 2019, going 12-2, but 9-10 win seasons outside of that. You never really felt, Oregon could make a run with Cristobal there. With Lanning, you did get that feeling, as you mentioned. So, yeah, I think it was the right move, and hopefully it doesn't blow up in their faces and fall apart.
Yeah, seriously. We've seen that far too many times recently.
Jimbo Fisher.
Yep.
But, yeah. So, Kieran, moving on to your secret topic that you would not tell me about.
Yes.
You told me about it, but you wouldn't tell me what it was.
Right. So, in the news just yesterday or Sunday, I can't remember the exact day, like they inked the deal, but Penn State's home field, just the field part now, will be renamed West Shore Home Field. Okay? West Shore is a remodeling company, an interior remodeling company. They mostly do baths and kitchens, things like that. They were founded in Mechanicsburg, PA by an alumni of Penn State University. And they signed, I think, a 15-year deal for $50 million. So it's about $3 million per year, give or take. Or $5 million, I can't remember. Anyway, my question to you is, still called Beaver Stadium, mind you. It's just the field is West Shore Home Field. My question to you is there a point to renaming individual parts of the stadium for corporate sponsors or anything like that will actually help or do anything? Or is it just a blatant money grab by the university to up their certain programs? That's my question to you.
No, it's a money grab that will then hopefully be going to NIL budgets, things like that. It will be going back into the teams, not just the president's pocket. That's really it. I don't necessarily have a huge issue with that. I'd much prefer colleges do that than go, oh, this isn't Beaver Stadium anymore. This is West Shore Home Stadium or whatever that company is called. And then also honoring individuals who you don't want to, when you don't want to rename the stadium, like Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. That I think they could have probably gotten away with renaming it Bryant Saban or Saban Bryant Field and dropping the Denny. He already has the chimes. We're good. But I understand that. But yeah, it's a money grab if you're going for a company doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, so the interesting part about that, like you said, Alabama renaming it Saban Field, they were going to rename it Paterno Field, but that was canned. That was a bit of a laugh there.
Why? What happened? Why was it canned?
You know what happened. Everyone knows what happened. We were going to leave that particular issue away, but it was reported that it was going to be a called Paterno Field, and I think there's 10. I think I read this that there's 10 board of trustees. 2 of them wanted it, and so did the CEO of West Shore Home. But like it got scrapped, and they just decided to call it after their company. Now, the only thing I have to say about this: West Shore Home, headquartered in Mechanicsburg, PA. It is neither on the West Shore, it is on the east side of the country, and it is not even near a shoreline, and it is in bumblefuck nowhere. Sorry, excuse me, but it's in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. Why even name your company that? Just call it like Mechanicsburg Bath and Shower or something. That would be a far more suitable name. But like, I don't even understand the company's name. That's what was like frying my brain for a while.
It's faux prestigious.
Yeah,
Mechanicsburg
really is, yeah.
Bath. That doesn't make you think of upscale home remodels. That makes you think of a plumber or some dude who barely passed 3rd grade English coming in to fix your shower.
Yeah, it's a stainless steel trough with a plastic spigot duct taped to a wall. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's very
funny. Honestly, though, I'm shocked that they went from Paterno Field to this instead of the obvious next choice after Paterno Field, Neville Chamberlain Field.
Of course.
2 men famously turning a blind eye to the atrocities around them. All right, let's get into some of the. Is there anything else you want to cover on that?
No. That's really just my. That's really just what I wanted to get out of you. Like it seems just like a blatant money grab type thing, and I mean it is. There's no 2 ways about it because you're still going to call it Beaver Stadium. You're never going to address the fields because it's part of the stadium. So I find it odd that they would even want to name it after them or their company or whatever. But that's just my 2 cents.
How much money did they give? That's what I want to know.
50 million.
Oh, okay. That's why they wanted to give it to him because they gave them $50 million.
Oh yeah, that's my point. It's a naked cash grab. That's like, I feel like the guy is an alumni of the university. I feel like there could have been either name it after himself, like, hey, I'm dropping 50 mil on this. I'd like my name on it. Whatever. I can't remember the guy's name exactly, but
it's like Wenserlin family or something.
Yeah, I think so. Like the Wenserlin family field. You go, okay, rich donator, money grab, boom, you both win. But to name it after your company, that makes absolutely no sense. I don't know. Just me. Maybe
I have a question.
Yeah.
What was it like going to a school where a lot of buildings were not named after KKK leaders?
It was fine for the most part. I mean, we have a bunch of unnamed buildings as well. So there's that.
I'm so confused.
Mm-hmm.
So Graves Hall, I forget what school is in that, but it was named after former Alabama governor and KKK leader Bibb Graves. They changed it to Arthur and Lucy Hall to honor the first Black student to attend the university. Initially, they were going to name it Lucy Graves Hall. Just mash those two together. And this is why I hate AI, because I think Google's AI is mucking things up here. University of Alabama had planned to rename the building Lucy Graves Hall, honoring both author and Lucy Foster and David Bibb Graves, who served as the Grand Cyclops of the KKK Montgomery chapter, but also served as a progressive pro-education governor. No, he did not. I do not know anything about David Bibb Graves' gubernatorial term. However, I could guarantee you he probably was not progressive.
Progressive for the time, maybe. Maybe.
No, I have jokes to make, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, let's avoid them due to legal complications.
Don't worry, Kieran. He renounced his KKK membership in 1928.
Well, for all intents and purposes, it's a step in the right direction. Whether it was forced or not, I don't know. I will not comment. But hey, it's something.
He was 55.
Well, so he's still of sound mind then.
And he was governor already.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that.
I don't either. Yeah. Alabama's weird. They had, I don't think they still do. They had a weird law at one point where you could be governor as many times as you wanted, but you could not serve consecutive terms.
Whoa, that is weird.
Yeah, so Alabama has a pretty early woman governor for Alabama. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, that's great, 1967. But Lurleen Wallace was governor to break up her husband, George Wallace. Basically gave him 2 consecutive terms. So, yeah, there's your Alabama history lesson for the day. Yeah, I was just curious, though, about that because I'm always like, God damn it, Alabama. Why you got to be doing this? I mean, I know why they're doing it or why they did it. It's because they're racist. All right, Rivalry Trophy histories. Yes. We talked about them last week. We did go through, pick 3 each. I'm doing 4, but that's because one of them's quick, and I wanted to do a different one. Just the histories of them. Kieran, you're just going to run through your 3, and then I'll run through mine.
All right. So
does that sound good?
Yep, that works. All right. So we're going to start with the Fremont Cannon. So partially picked this because obviously I started cheering for a mid-team last year, which is the UNLV Rebels. They are no longer a mid-team. They are a force to be reckoned with, okay? So I had to pick this. It was, so this Fremont Cannon was a replica of a 15-pound howitzer artillery piece that was constructed at a cost of $10,000 and weighing in at 554 pounds, which makes it the most expensive and heaviest trophy in college football. So there's a little fun fact for you. The history of it was that a frontiersman by the name of, let's get it here, John C. Fremont, obviously, who lost the cannon on a military expedition through the Sierra Nevada mountains in 1886, I think. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so it's painted each year for the color of the team that wins, either scarlet for UNLV, blue for Nevada. It actually, before 1998, it was actually fired when the team that had the cannon scored a touchdown. It was subsequently lifted up by the student body rushing the fields after a win, and was cracked and dropped, and therefore had to undergo restoration, and it no longer fires, unfortunately. So I thought that was a really cool trophy, especially given into the history of it. That was a really cool history lesson to learn. So that was a lot of fun. Do we want to switch off each one, or do you want to just go through mine first?
I do just have yours in a row,
okay,
but I can do
fine.
this. I can bounce around.
No, it's fine if we want to just keep going. All right. Again, bias because I'm Irish and I love the old historical nonsense that goes along with it. The jeweled shillelagh. So, and yes, that is how you pronounce it. It's not salugga or whatever people think it might be. So the jeweled shillelagh is a 2.5 or 1.5 foot blackthorn, or I think it's oak. Yeah, blackthorn or oak sapling from Ireland. It's was introduced by the Notre Dame Alumni Club of Los Angeles in 1952. And after each win, it either gets a shamrock or a Trojan helmet, depending on who wins the thing. There is a small red ruby if USC wins, a small green emerald if Ireland wins. And in 1989, 1996, USC defeated Notre Dame for the first time in 14 years, but Notre Dame didn't return or didn't turn over the shillelagh because they stated it had ran out of space. So then they donated the old one and remade it, and so now they just hand it off until it's full again. They retire it and make a new one. So it's kind of cool. Kind of keeps going with that. It was the first one was the material came from County Leitrim in Ireland. So if anybody knows where that is, that's pretty cool. There was something about this trophy in particular that I was trying to remember where it was in my notes, and I've lost it. But it was a cool factoid that kind of came back to somewhere where we live, actually, Kev. Or we lived when we grew up. But now I can't find it. So let me find it in my notes, and I will get back. I'll come back to that. So, moving on.
Do you want me to do one of mine so you can look for it?
No. I'll just move on when you're doing yours. I'll look for it. And finally, I couldn't leave this list incomplete if it weren't for a Big Ten rivalry. So the Minnesota-Wisconsin rivalry is, barring one time in 1906, the first meeting was in 1890, barring one meeting in 1906 when Theodore Roosevelt shut down college football games due to the severity of injuries that were being caused. This is the longest standing continuous rivalry in college football. Found that out last night. That's cool. Originally, so I should say this. The Paul Bunyan Axe is actually a recent trophy. Originally, it was a slab of bacon, and it had a W or an M, depending on which way you hung it. So whichever team won, they would just flip the hang, screw it back into their whatever plaque, and it had bacon on either side of the plaque, kind of like in a field formation, and it had bacon on either side. It was lost. It was lost sometime in like the 1940 or 1992. 1948. It was lost, and so they introduced this new Paul Bunyan's axe with all the scores and whatever. But the slab of bacon was actually found 50 years later in 1992 at the Camp Randall Stadium in a storage closet. And it turned out that somebody had actually been maintaining it. They don't know who, obviously, but a intern, Will Rolson, found it in a storage cabinet. So that was kind of cool to learn. But because they have 2 different trophies, they actually have 2 different records. So the Slab of Bacon trophy actually comes in at Minnesota 11 wins, Wisconsin 3 wins, and that was from 1930 to 1943. And then the Paul Bunyan trophy, Wisconsin is currently in the lead with 46 wins, 46 wins for Wisconsin, 28 for Minnesota, and 3 ties. And that, as of 2004, averages out, or 2024, excuse me, averages out to .617, which is our old area code growing up. Thought that was pretty cool.
That's true. I actually did not grow up in the 617 area code.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, missing out, dude.
No, I was outside of it.
Oh,
so
nerd.
All right. Well, I'm very interested in who was maintaining this thing. This slab.
Yeah, they don't know. It was
mildly concerning.
Yeah. So basically how the story goes is after 50 years, it should have had a lot more wear and tear on it, but it didn't. So it's not that somebody was cleaning it every day, but somebody was clearly maintaining it well enough that they both kept it hidden and or was not letting it deteriorate too bad. So that was an interesting story.
It's like Phantom of the Opera, but Phantom of the Slab of Bacon.
Yeah. Honestly, 2 great trophies for a great rivalry like this. A Slab of Bacon and Paul Bunyan's axe. You couldn't get more Minnesotan, Wisconsinite than that.
That is true. True. All right. While Kieran looks up what he was trying to find about the jeweled shillelagh, let's look at Bridger Rifle. It's named after Jim Bridger. He was a mountain man and a frontiersman out in the area, the Utah, Wyoming area. So they named it after him. A lot of people might recognize him because he was in or played by Will Poulter in The Revenant. So he also had 3 wives across his life. One of them, they were all Native American women. One of them, he named Emma. You should not be naming your wife. That's just weird to be like, choosing your wife's name is a little weird. Had 3 kids with her. She died from a fever. Then he married the daughter of a Shoshone chief who died in childbirth 3 years later. And then he married the daughter of another Shoshone chief. And they had 2 children. And yeah, he died on his farm near Kansas City, Missouri. A lot of places named after him. You got Fort Bridger, which was a fur trading outpost. You have Fort Bridger, Wyoming, Bridger, Montana, Bridger, South Dakota, Bridger Mountains in Wyoming, Bridger Mountains in Montana, Bridger Wilderness, the Bridger Bowl ski area, the Bridger Teton National Forest, Bridger Pass, Jim Bridger Power Station, Bridgerland in Cache Valley, maybe is how I pronounce it. Obviously, Bridger's Battle, the trophy we were talking about. It is a 50 caliber Rocky Mountain Hawken rifle.
Wow. Got some heat on it.
Yeah. Jim Bridger Middle School in North Las Vegas, Nevada. James Bridger Middle School, a little fancier in Independence, Missouri. I believe that's where you start when you're playing Oregon Trail. And Bridger Creative Science School, formerly Jim Bridger Elementary School in Portland, Oregon. So yeah, it's a frontiersman, and they named the trophy after him. Their 50 caliber rifle.
That's a pretty cool trophy, I got to admit.
Oh,
is there anything not named Bridger now?
I don't think so.
There you go.
Yeah, so next up, did I even, please tell me I put the trophy up. I did. Cool. Next up, we have the Iron Skillet. Now, this is one, Kieran, that we said was lazy.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't disagree with that, but I mean, this rivalry does go back 110 years. First met October 18, 1915. These schools are about an hour apart in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There's 2 different versions of kind of how this came to be. SMU claims that TCU and SMU fans started this in 1946. when an SMU fan was frying frog legs as a joke because TCU is the Horned Frogs. A TCU fan, and this used the phrase, see the desecration of the frog, told him that was going too far, which is insane. Like, that's where you draw the line. That's way too early to be drawing the line. I mean,
you might as well have poisoned trees.
Yeah, if they poison the watershed of your campus, fine. That's probably going a little too far. But frying frog legs, really. And then, but also, like, they should let the game decide who would get the skillet and the frog legs. Okay, so you don't think it's going too far. You just think doing it before the game is a bridge too far, apparently. SMU won. Skillet and frog legs went to them. And then now it's past the winner. TCU, however, says that SMU student council proposed the idea of presenting a trophy. TCU agreed, and they met. The school's governing bodies met, and they made the iron skillet. Some claim, and this is all from TCU, so conflicting stories, but TCU then says an SMU fan was caught frying frog legs in a skillet. And so I think then that's probably the real thing, real reason why, and it's just the schools want more credit for it.
Lame.
Yeah, but I do like that there's at least, I hope if it's the frog legs thing, there's a little more history in it.
Yeah, it almost feels more genuine.
Yes.
Like two student organizations coming up to meet and deciding an iron skillet is the best way to do things is not only is that idea lazy, but then to come up with an equally lazy trophy, well, that really does sum up college students. But I feel like they could have done better.
It sums up college students, except like the student government people are tryhards.
Oh yeah, that's so true. No, you know what? It probably was more like two members of the same fraternity but different chapters like came up with this. It's just like, oh, this would be really funny if we just handed you a skillet every time we beat each other.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you can cook frog legs on this.
Yeah, but so I hope it is the frog legs thing because I enjoyed that story.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the Palladium Trophy, Troy versus Middle Tennessee. I fixed it this week. Last week I had UAB and someone else, but
Middle Tennessee.
Battle. Okay, so no, Memphis. I had UAB.
Oh, Memphis. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Which is obviously the Bones, Kieran.
Yes, the Bones.
So, the Palladium. You can't really tell. It is a statue of Athena on top of that. And it's basically, the story goes that the Palladium is a wooden statue that fell from the heavens in Greek mythology. It was kept at the Temple of Athena in the city of Troy. And legend went, as long as the Palladium was within the walls of the city, Troy would be safe and no one would take it. And then Odysseus came along and stole it during the Trojan War, which led to the fall of Troy. And, you know, you have the Blue Raiders because they called Odysseus a raider. Yeah, the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders and the Troy Trojans. They kind of linked that together. And that's why they call it that. They're close together, too, so that's why it's rivalry. Legend also says the winner of the Palladium gains an unknown and unexplainable advantage over the other, making it more difficult to regain control. And I think that might be true. So the game first started out in 1936. Middle Tennessee won in 1936, 1937, 1939, 42, 46, 47, 52, 53. Then Troy won it in 99 after a little hiatus. Then 01, 03, Middle Tennessee, 05, Troy, or 04, Troy, 05, Middle Tennessee, then 06 to 11 was Troy, then Middle Tennessee in 2012, then 2020. They did a home and home because they split the series. That was the COVID year. September 19th, 2020, it was played at Middle Tennessee, and then November 21st, 2020, it was played at Troy. So, yeah.
I like that. I like that now. It's a crap trophy, but I like the history behind it. You're kind of reaching back to antiquity and all that jazz, and kind of pulling it to modern day, and making it fun. I respect the trophy more now.
And tying it into your team names. So
yes, exactly.
I do like it. I think execution could be better, but I don't hate it. Oh, I love the story. I hate the trophy still.
Yeah.
So, all right, now probably one of our favorite trophies from last week. I don't think we had it. No, we had it in A, but the Illabuck. Because the question on everyone's mind was, why is it a turtle? Kieran, I'm going to be honest with you. The reasoning is not great. It's not bad. It's just not great. Originally, the trophy was a live turtle when the tradition began, picked for its expected long life as a symbol of the anticipated long life of the rivalry. So 1925 was the first time they gave out this turtle because of the long life.
Okay.
The original turtle died on April 14th, 1926.
Okay.
And then they stopped doing live turtles. They just went to wooden Illabucks. It's the second oldest trophy. So yeah, like it's not a great reason.
Yeah.
It's kind of disappointing. It has the opposite issue of the Palladium.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, this is a great, objectively a great trophy. Crap backstory. And just it's so disappointing because you're just like, surely there's a great idea for this. Now, I will say, live trophies, as it were. Cool idea in theory, but you look real daft when it dies only a few years later.
Yeah, but it's fine. I'm also seeing some reports saying the Illabuck died in 1927, not 1926. Still not long. Not a long life for that turtle. I want to know how it died now.
Please tell me, like, one of the coaches didn't, like, run over it or something.
He died after escaping from an Illinois fraternity bathtub.
Oh, see, here's the thing. It's so much cooler now, but it's still equally terrible.
And reportedly succumbing to the effects of alcohol poisoning.
Oh, for God's sakes. God damn it.
That's a downer.
That's such a downer. Oh, God.
That's just sad.
That is just sad. That's terrible.
I am glad that they decided then to stop doing the live turtles.
Yes. It was
They just went, you know what? Wooden turtles it is. Y'all cannot be trusted.
Yeah.
Kieran, did you find what you were looking for about the shillelagh?
I didn't. No, I can't. I went back to the Wikipedia article I was looking at, and I cannot find what I was looking for. I must have read something weird. There's nothing really. Yeah, I got nothing. Oh well.
Yeah, that's a shame. I'm now searching through the Wikipedia. You also might have been reading about some other trophy that Notre Dame has with Boston College.
Oh, possibly.
That we did not do because it is disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. There was something about it. Anyway. Never mind.
All right. Well, I think that's our show for this week. A little shorter because, as I mentioned, I am sick. We'll be back next week for some more shenanigans. We have not picked a topic yet for next week, but we will be sure to probably figure that out before we record, hopefully. And yeah, everyone have a good rest of your week. Try to stay healthy. And we are not too
Penn
far away.
State.
What?
Penn State.
What about Penn State?
You said we are, and I said Penn State.
Jesus.
Yeah. Don't forget St. Patrick's Day weekend this weekend, so have fun, enjoy yourself. Don't drink and drive. All be sensible, but still have fun.
It's true. We are 165 days until week 0, by the way.
Woo!
So we were also last week, but we are halfway there. About. No, we're not. I was thinking like 365 divided by 2, but
that's not how that works, champ.
That's not how that works at all. Hey, I'm sick.
You graduated college, didn't you? Yeah.
We've been talking about it the entire time. I went to Alabama, where they wanted to share the name of an academic building with a KKK leader and a civil rights icon. Are we shocked?
The duality of man.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, all right. We're going to end on that note. Everyone have a good week.
See ya.
They're eating the dogs, Kieran, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
dogs. You know
that? They were eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years, and just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to this school. Recruits are going to see this.
And we're also sorry that you have to watch a Brian Kelly coach football team. We can only imagine how difficult that must be for you, knowing that you're not going to win a big game ever with him as your coach, and that you're rooting for a child murderer.
This podcast has gone off to a really weird start, but I like it.
I love it, though. I'm a big fan.